Welcome to TYRO TV. I'm Ron TYRO.
And I'm Cathy TYRO. And for those of you that don't know our story, Ron and I did 15 years in the prison system. While Ron did time on the inside, the kids and I did time on the outside.
And while we were doing time, right,
yeah.
we were able to create a curriculum called TYRO. TYRO is a Latin word which means apprentice, novice, someone learning something new, a warrior, or founding father. And we guarantee you, if you apply these principles, it will change your life.
Our passion and our mission is to help you become leaders in your home, your community, and your workplace. And so all the things that we went through and all the lessons that we learned through that 15-year journey, we have put into the curriculum and we seek to provide to you so that you can become successful in your life.
So if you're looking for that antidote, if you're looking for that answer that's gonna help you hit the next level in your life, you know, when you leave penitentiary and you wanna become successful, you wanna be a man worth following, right? A man who can be taken at his word, this is the program for you, TYRO.
So today, on today's show, we've got a very special guest. It's someone that we like to have back. So if you haven't seen her before, you'll see her again. Marraih is gonna come and she's gonna share with us about Toledo's Pet Bowl program. Now you might be thinking, okay, well, I'm not going home to Toledo. What does this have to do with me?
Toledo's Pet Bowl, right? It's Pet Bull Project, and we are really excited to hear what that's all about. Because when I think of Pet Bull, you know, are we talking about a bull? Or a pit bull, or a dog, or, you know, when I say bull, I'm thinking a cow.
But
right?
There are all kinds of life applications that are gonna help you become a better dad. So it's not just about, okay, this project, which is a really cool project, but out of what's happening in this project, you're gonna learn tips and tools to help you become successful as you transition home and even right now where you are in order to connect with your kids in a really real and relevant way.
So stay tuned, you don't wanna miss this episode of TYRO TV. We'll be right back.
TYRO Dads will help you to see who you really are on the inside by coming to terms with your past, present, and future. You'll begin to move forward by using your time on the inside to transform yourself. We know you're not the only one serving time. Your family is too. Overcoming the issues that existed prior to and during incarceration are often more than what many families can survive. TYRO Dads has a unique method of reaching and healing families based on Ron and Catherine TYRO's own personal experiences. TYRO Dads works exclusively with incarcerated fathers who have minor children. The program lasts for 10 weeks and focuses on intensive character development. You'll be taught to take responsibility for your actions, to own it. You'll be prepared to overcome the obstacles of incarceration and transition back into your home and community, both successfully and permanently. Upon successful completion of this program, you will earn the title of TYRO, which means a warrior, someone learning something new. You will be one of the honored, a man worth following. If you think you have what it takes to be a TYRO, or you want to know more, contact your local project facilitator or your institution staff.
Welcome back to TYRO TV. I'm Ron TYRO.
And I'm Cathy TYRO.
And today we have a very dear friend of ours, Marraih Kornwa from Toledo's Pet Bull Project.
That's right. Hi. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we're super excited to hear about what you're doing with the pit bulls and other dogs.
Yeah, so first of all, let me just tell you, it's Toledo's Pet Bull Project.
Pet.
The PET actually stands for Prevent Animal Cruelty and Dogfighting, Educate on the Importance of Spay and Neuter, and train folks to be advocates, whatever their breed is. Now, most people think pet bull is pit bull. While we work with pit bulls because they're overpopulated and misunderstood in our community, it's pet. We do work with all breeds. The really cool thing about what we do is dogs are the tool that we use to, one, provide community resources and a lot of youth programming. Currently, this program is in Lucas County and Toledo only, but the application, I hope, will benefit our guys throughout the state.
Wonderful.
So I guess I just want to tell you where we're at. So we provide programming. It's called humane education programming. So it's talking about the difference between what is humane versus what is cruel. Just some education on different topics like for the kids, animals and careers, overpopulation. We talk about volunteerism and advocacy development and what that means. So we do different presentations in the Toledo Correctional Institution. We also do that in the Toledo correctional treatment facility, the youth treatment facility, and the youth juvenile detention center.
Wonderful.
Very cool.
What we realize is that while we have the floor, we get to talk about a lot of bigger issues. We start off our presentations talking about abuse and neglect and abandonment, and I see the kids or even adults just, they don't want to make eye contact. I say, wait, I was actually talking about the dogs. And they can see that this is a tool that we use that people can relate to.
Wow.
So a lot of what we do really comes back to compassion building, hope and rehabilitation, again, advocacy and what that means to do so effectively. And so we really get to do a lot of things and really create a place where people can volunteer. We can all be very, very different, but we can agree on this one purpose that drives us to come together.
So you do these presentations and you work with a lot of youth, and it opens up all kinds of doors.
Yes.
So do you actually work with the animals, or you help people know how to work with animals?
Well, so that's kind of twofold. And we've been around for about 6 years. We are a 501c3 nonprofit. We are all volunteers, which is really cool. I do have sponsorship throughout the day from my employer, Molina Healthcare, to be able to do this because we have a shared demographic with youth, with reentry, with families in poverty. So we started off as a resource. We saw a lot of dogs being returned to shelters unnecessarily. You just didn't know how to train it, or you just ran out of food. So we offered free park trainings where we would have food, collars, leashes, trainers available so that would keep dogs from being returned to shelters. Secondly, we have a problem with dog fighting. And the way that we could impact that is hopefully getting in front of it and letting people see what those effects are. People look at dogs as property, but if you want them to be part of your pack, you want a beast that can respond to you and listen, you've got to have a positive relationship. So a lot of that goes back to leadership.
Right.
A leader that leads by fear can intimidate you into doing what I want you to do for a short period of time.
Right.
And then you no longer fear me and you have no control.
Right.
So really it's about talking about what those needs are. And then while we're there, we also recognize that while we're talking about animal cruelty, there's a close correlation to animal cruelty with domestic violence and child abuse.
Sure.
Equally, as we talk about dog fighting, we can also talk about gang violence as well.
This is
very
this is
cool.
amazing how you've been able to connect the dots.
Yes.
Really, because I think you referred to dog fighting is really prevalent among a lot of the gangs and really trying to intervention that we're trying to get the youth or even the adults. Look, you don't have to go back to the streets when they come out of the penitentiary. Look, Dad, we know that might have been your lifestyle in the past, but we want to show you a better course. And I appreciate the tool that you're using, the dogs, to really show that there's compassion in everyone.
Yes,
Right.
and that's the key is how do you teach somebody to care? I need you to go and care some more.
Right.
Where do I
Okay,
even begin?
what does that mean? Right.
And giving a kid, so we have a program called Teacher's Pet where we put at-risk youth, any youth, with dogs for 6 weeks. We became a rescue within the last couple years, which we have just as many Chihuahuas as we do Pit Bulls, just as misunderstood.
Right.
In our program, they work with these dogs for 6 weeks, and they learn reliability, they learn dependability, they get to put these concepts into action. We always talk about advocacy in action. It's one thing to tell you to go do something about that problem,
Right.
but if I don't get to touch it and see it and change it and be responsible for it, I don't own it.
This is
That's
some great.
very cool.
What's that? Experiential learning.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
That's what this
Right,
is.
yeah,
And
absolutely.
a lot of the dads we work with, I know I thrive in that more so than the opposite, whatever the opposite is.
You don't want to just read.
Right. Yeah. Textbook learning.
That's
Yeah. You put me in the mix of it. Let me touch it. Let me see what's happening and show me how to do it, that I can do it then like that. And so I think that this would be great for the fathers as they come out because they got to have a priority here. A lot of people, I think when we talk about the people that are incarcerated or the demographics, we're dealing with the welfare mentality, and so welfare state of mind, they have 2 or 3, 4 pets.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, you barely
Well,
are
this
making
is a
it,
great segue into why. Why is it important and the things that we learned that, Dad, you can actually get this and take some tips and tools on how to actually connect with your own kids. So stay tuned. When we come back, Marraih is going to share why this is the important work. You don't want to miss this. We'll be right back.
Playing catch, basketball, laughing, and enjoying each other's company. These are all normal things on the outside, but many times are missed in a visitation setting. TYRO Dads brings the same fun experience to the inside through Family Days. As a TYRO Dad, you have the opportunity to participate in this fantastic event. Family Day is designed to allow fathers and families to engage with each other through activities designed to stimulate communication, learning, and play. Family Days will not only be a highlight for you, but for your children as well. The Ridge Project has strategically developed Family Day as an opportunity to help you connect with your child throughout your separation and help both of you develop skills to continue building your relationship when you return home.
Welcome back to TYRO TV. I'm Ron TYRO.
And I'm Cathy TYRO, and today we have with us Marraih Kornwa from the Toledo's Pet Bowl Project.
Yes, ma'am.
And so we've been talking about what exactly that is, and now in this segment, we're going to talk about why does that even matter to you? Like, okay, so why do you do what you do, and then why should it matter to the dads from all over the state?
Well, one, I think it's another example of lead by example. If you have purpose and drive in your life and something that makes you feel good, that really is going to transfer over into a lot of different arenas.
Right.
We look at this program as an anti-bullying program. If you can care for something that is smaller and weaker than you, it transfers over in how we treat each other. There's so much out there that divides us that if we can find something that unites us, and that's the work that we do here, and even if it is just localized to the Toledo area, my advice and hope for our audience today is that you take forward the message of advocacy. We're teaching our kids how to stand up for something. A lot of it is just a difference in upbringings and perception. And the number one time a dog bites is when it's on a chain. Right. We talk about that in one of our programs. So we also do, I told you about the humane education. We do pet safety demonstrations for kids, also for adults, things that we take for granted, golden rule, I can't pull your hair, don't pull mine, don't pull a dog's hair, can I touch your food? No, don't touch the dog's food. Simple things that we take for granted.
Here, Ron, you gonna eat that?
right. Don't touch my food.
Yeah, right,
But because
exactly.
we humanize these dogs, we, men, this is my favorite thing. Why don't you want to neuter your male dog? Even though it adds years to their life, it takes away some of their aggression. They're pumped with hormones all the time, makes them less prone to certain cancers. Yeah. The reason they don't want to is because they're worried about the dog's manhood. But guess what? They're not men. Dogs aren't men. So we humanize them.
That's right.
Right? We give them human characteristics and expectations, but we're surprised when an animal acts like an animal. Wow. So part of it is making sure people understand the behaviors of a dog as dog behaviors, and giving you the tools you need to be successful as a pet owner. We also realize that sometimes with no fault of our own, we're down on our luck. I can barely afford to feed myself or my kids, let alone this furry creature that's depending on me. Right. We have a pet food pantry that our kids actually run. So a lot of it too is when we talk about advocacy and action, people come to our center and they're like, okay, where are all the dogs? And there's no dogs that are housed there. Yeah. They're all fostered in homes. But it's also about all the work that's involved in making something that you really want to be successful happen. It's not just playing with furry stuff, although it's a great benefit when we do. Right. It's all of the work that's involved behind it. So it's teaching our kids that if there's something that you want or that you stand for, what does that involve? And even having a difference in opinions, rather than calling you stupid for your opinion, that's not going to solve anything. Right. So how can we work together to change perceptions?
Wow, that is awesome. Really cool stuff. Amazing. There's a saying we just heard not too long ago. Don't wish for something. How did that go? You gotta. How did he say it?
Yeah. He said you're not going to make your dreams come true by wishing
for it.
It's by working for it.
Right. Absolutely.
And I hear what you're saying, by applying the same principles or the principle that you're applying for to taking care of that dog, they transfer so seamlessly into your adult life. You know? By taking care of the dog, you can take care of your kids. And this is what we're teaching young people. It's what you guys are doing, teaching young people, look, we're going to show you by taking care of this, as you get older, you're going to apply these same skills into your own life. To where when you do become adult, if you do get married and you do have kids, you already know how to take care of the priorities.
And two, from a reentry standpoint, we always get our volunteers a lot of times from reentry. They've heard about us. They've got a relationship with us. They want to be of value to the community. We realize sometimes idle time is the devil's time. Get involved with something that matters to you. And so sometimes, and this can happen anywhere in the state, there's always a need for fosters for dogs, and it's temporary. Usually, they pay for all of your medical for the dog, the food, the responsibilities of training, stuff like that. So it really makes a difference, and it's not permanent, and it holds you accountable to something. So I really like that from a reentry
I
standpoint.
want to just do a plug in because I know they have dog programs in the penitentiary.
Yes.
And I'll tell you, the men that take care of the dogs, they're never in trouble, right? They stay out of the way.
It's their incentive.
Right,
Yep.
it's their incentive, and they get to be with this animal, and they're training this animal so that it's healthy and it is ready to go into a home right before when it leaves him.
Yep.
And he knows that he has a task to do and a job to do is to prepare this dog for the family he's going to go home to. Well, dads, listen, this is you're being trained to come home. Right? Because I don't know. I mean, a lot of the times men call each other, man, what's up, dog? How you doing? Right? And all these type of slangs and stuff like that. But really, what's up, dad?
Yeah.
What's up, father? How are you today? You know, are you healthy? You know, can you take care of yourself? A dog can't take care of itself. Leave a dog to its own devices, it's gonna become vicious. Well, dad, you know what? When we're left to our own devices too, you know, we become vicious. We become bitter. We become angry.
Yeah.
Right?
And we call that a lack of socialization. Dogs in the wild don't naturally want to fight. They want to, it's all about dominance and control.
Right.
Well, we have to let go of some of that control in our own lives because there's a lot of things that are outside of our scope. So doing what we can along the way, staying engaged, having a purpose is half the battle.
Right.
Pro-social behavior.
And really figuring out ways to make everything a life lesson, to take whatever it is that you're engaged in, whatever your passion is, and make it into a life lesson that helps not only you become better, but helps you teach really core important concepts to your kids.
Yes.
So when we come back, we're gonna literally talk about how to do that. So stay tuned, you don't wanna miss this. We'll be right back.
Dear son, it's been hard these last few years, watching you grow up without me in the picture. Never taking the time to find out how you were or what was going on in your life. You're just a boy, I thought. You don't need me. I didn't need my dad. He was never around, I told myself. But I was wrong, son. I'm supposed to be a grown man. I was selfish. I was stupid. I was thinking of me, not you. If I could go back, son, and change things, I would. It's taken me all this time being selfish to finally grow up and realize I need to be a responsible man. That's what I finally learned, not from prison, but the TYRO program. It's all about becoming a better, stronger man. Wish I would have gotten it sooner. Everything looks different to me now. I'm a changed person. I know I need to be there for you now. It's not about me anymore. It's not about being cool. It's not about who I run with. It's about mom. It's about you. It's about being a better man, learning something new in my life. It's about being a TYRO, a man worth following. I'm your dad. You're my son, and I love you. I am a TYRO. I'm a TYRO. Dad.
If you think you have what it takes to be a TYRO or just want to know more, contact your local Ridge Project facilitator or your caseworker.
Welcome back to TYRO TV. I'm Ron Tiarina.
And I'm Cathy Tiarina, and today we have with us a very cool guest, one of our favorite guests. Okay, like most of them are our favorite, but she's really one of our favorites, Marraih.
Thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here.
So you're not the dog warden.
Oh, not at all. No, we don't want to take people's dogs. We want to keep the dog in the home with their family. It's a lot about responsible ownership and what it takes to keep that dog for the lifetime of that dog. It's a big responsibility. I know we were talking earlier when people come home, they want to reward their kids with a puppy, and that may not be the best move. You've got to consider what your lifestyle is, what time you have to give the dog, the consistency of the entire family and training the dog. Right. People ask us all the time, do we train dogs? No, we train people. It's our consistent.
Exactly
it is.
Right.
It's our consistent
exactly
leadership.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you were talking a little bit about a story about a rescue.
Yes.
So can you share that?
So about 2 years ago when we started rescue, we would get a lot of calls from kids that are like, we found this half dead dog in the road. And we're like, oh, that's terrible. Call somebody else, right? We had to step in to be part of that solution and that full circle solution there. So we got a call about a puppy that somebody didn't want, and it wasn't high on our list. We don't want to come and take your puppy. We got to it, and we get there, and there's about 6 kids, anywhere from 2 to 16, running around. Dad is irritated. How much time is this going to take? We're like, okay, we just want to assess the situation. We got in the garage. It's August. It's hot. It smells like death. We go in this hot garage, and there is a 3-month-old puppy in a crate. Cannot lift its head. It's laying in its own feces and vomit. It was the saddest thing I've ever seen. This dog had parvo, so it naturally was sick. They were talking about replacing the dog right away. That's something that you need a lot of time so that the next dog doesn't get the same disease.
Right.
Either way, they surrender the dog. We take it in. We can't save it. The parvo's too far gone. But they noticed there's something wrong with this dog. The dog had been picked up by its front legs, shook, both legs broke, and left to heal that way. And it's starting to heal, but it's too sick to do anything. And the hardest part, the dog didn't make it, unfortunately. The hardest part in all of that was the kids' reactions. My child would have been mortified.
Right,
you know,
right.
How it was
Sobbing,
a lack.
hysterical.
Yeah, it was a lack of empathy. They cannot see it. What that dog must have been going through, the pain that dog was in, the isolation, and just a horrible story. So what it brought to our attention was a lack of empathy. How do we teach our kids to care? How can we get people to see it from a different perspective?
Right.
And our discussions really help open up a lot of awareness in different things. Pit bulls, we know, are overpopulated. People want them from a status symbol, but if you look back historically at vicious breeds, it was the Doberman, it was the Rottweiler, it was the German Shepherd,
Right.
and really it comes down to blaming the wrong end of the leash.
Right.
Which end do you blame? It's the people that have set this up.
Right.
So we look at pit bulls as another way to discuss, one, what responsible ownership looks like, what dog to dog aggression looks like versus dog to human aggression, and then also it allows us to discuss things like, very current in our world today, discrimination. We don't judge you based on your hair,
Right.
what type of size of your shoulders, what type of skin you have, and we are classifying an entire group of dogs
right.
that aren't, pit bull isn't even a breed, it's a classification. So we just assume that must be a pit bull.
Right.
Well, it just has a blocky head and it could be multiple
Right.
breeds.
Right.
So we're recognizing that, one, breed discrimination doesn't work. Two, it's our way to address discrimination in other forms.
Oh, yeah, that's
And really get people rallied around that. I mean, and again, like I said, we have a lot of Chihuahuas because I want to be able to open my purse and say, look, I got a dog. But guess how
yeah.
big their bladders are?
Right.
I don't want a dog that pees everywhere.
Right.
So now we
Yeah.
have a lot of those being returned.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know, and again, in Toledo, we have all these different breeds, but those are the ones that people tend to take on, but not take the life of them.
Right.
So let me go back to that story
Sure.
you shared, because I'm hearing, you know, the dad in the situation and his responsibility to teach
yeah.
empathy and to teach how to take care of this dog. Okay, so maybe the legs were accidentally broken, but there was no, hey, you know what? We're going to show you how to do a rescue operation here.
Right.
We're going to, you know,
This is responsibility.
Yeah.
You know, what you did was wrong, and now we need to take care of this animal.
Yeah.
And dad, you know, being frustrated, and instead of like. We see this often, and I'm sure you do too. The parents get the pet, say, okay, it's your responsibility, children. And they don't take the time to really instill in the kids
What that
the
means.
skills.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
What does this mean? How do I educate them and train them so that they understand how to care for an animal? Right. And so when we think about the how does this apply to you? That one of the key applications in our discussion today is, Dad, when you are putting additional responsibility on your kids, make sure that you've trained them up for that. First, by leading by example, and second, by taking the time to really communicate clearly to your children what the expectations are. Training them, getting them ready.
Yep.
You know, something we did when our daughter was 5 years old and she wanted a horse. Begged and begged and begged for a horse. So Ron says, okay, well, this is what we're gonna do. So for 1 year, she had to go and she had to scoop poop at a local place that boarded horses. And she didn't get to ride much. She cleaned, she fed them, she brushed them, and that's what she did. And Ron
Proved,
says, proved
yeah.
that she knew how to care for a horse and that she really wanted that responsibility of a horse.
because
That's
a
a big
horse,
deal.
it is a big deal.
Huge.
Yeah,
And-
just like any pet.
Yeah.
And I tell you, we wind up, just real quick, personal story on our note, we had 2 horses. But just recently, so we've had the horses for 8 years.
Right.
And so we brought them home. But just recently, she came to the mature decision because of her schedule and her school and all her activities and sports and everything. And it was a moment for us. And she's cleaning the stalls out and she's crying and she calls me over. I said, I'll help you clean out the stall. Papa, this is nothing. I said, it's time. And I said, what do you mean it's time? I said, it's time. I don't
and
have...
she says, they want to connect with their rider. They want to be ridden. They want to have time spent with them. And I just don't have the time that they deserve.
That's a very mature
decision.
She's 14
and
years
she
old.
saw me because she loves these horses.
Yep.
And so I will tell you, taking the time to train them up front, you will reap the dividends, and not only you, but your children will. When we come back, Marraih is going to leave you with 3 solid tips, things that you can begin doing right now to prepare you to help your kids learn to be responsible, learn anti-bullying, learn all of these concepts. So stay tuned. You don't want to miss this. We will be right back.
TYRO Dads will help you to see who you really are on the inside by coming to terms with your past, present, and future. You'll begin to move forward by using your time on the inside to transform yourself. We know you're not the only one serving time. Your family is too. Overcoming the issues that existed prior to and during incarceration are often more than what many families can survive. TYRO Dads has a unique method of reaching and healing families based on Ron and Catherine TYRO's own personal experiences. TYRO Dads works exclusively with incarcerated fathers who have minor children. The program lasts for 10 weeks and focuses on intensive character development. You'll be taught to take responsibility for your actions, to own it. You'll be prepared to overcome the obstacles of incarceration and transition back into your home and community, both successfully and permanently. Upon successful completion of this program, you will earn the title of TYRO, which means a warrior, someone learning something new. You will be one of the honored, a man worth following. If you think you have what it takes to be a TYRO or you want to know more, contact your local project facilitator or your institution staff.
Welcome back to TYRO TV. I'm Ron TYRO.
And I'm Cathy TYRO, and we have been enjoying an incredible conversation
Awesome
today
time.
with Marraih.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So
Of the Toledo Pet Bull Project.
Yes.
And we're almost out of time. And so I want to make sure that you have time to just give 3 pointers, 3 things that dads can do even right now that help make them a better dad and really connect all of these dots.
So number 1, I always say, what do you care about? Show people that you care. That passion is contagious, so find ways to show that you care right now. Number 2, volunteer. There's all kinds of different things that you can be a part of. If you don't like dogs, if you're allergic, no big deal. Just get involved with something that is meaningful to you, that really is passionate.
And that means not just when you get home. Right now where you are, there's all kinds of groups inside the institution that you can get involved with. You can do fundraisers and you can contribute to your community even where you are. So do it now because practice makes permanent, and then transition and find something on the outside.
Yeah, and I guess the third thing would just be an extension of that is show your kids, involve them. A lot of times we think either sports or arts, but giving back to your community is something that if you are part of the solution, we buy into that solution, and our kids need to be part of that. They have a very small amount of control within their lives. They're told what to do, what time they have to be there, what time to go to bed. So giving them something to be responsible for and a part of is really empowering for them.
And I think by living by example is key, because they're looking at you, Dad. They're saying, okay, you're there, Dad. What are you doing to make yourself better and to make our family not only become better, but stay connected and grow?
Yes.
Right? Because this is about growing. And so Marraih, this has been amazing. It's been a help for
I'm
us.
glad to be here. Yeah.
You know.
And again, this is for Toledo, but it is, there are programs like this all over the place. It's just about doing something that makes you feel good and gives you purpose.
Right, giving back,
Yes.
which is a key concept for TYRO dads. So if you're not a TYRO, you need to find out about the TYRO program. Check with your caseworker, check it with your unit manager, and get an application for TYRO and get connected.
So thank you for allowing us to be part of your journey. We hope you really enjoyed today's show as much as we did. But until next time, always remember that we are rooting for you.